Wasn't sure if I was going to get it done this week, but I'm committed to you know, coming back from this trip better conditioning than when I left, which is something I've never been able to do on one of these kind of longer European trips. But I plan on doing it this time for sure. Dev Mountain is an industry-leading coding bootcamp teaching web development, iOS development, and UX design. Dev Mountain provides free housing for all of their full-time students. If you're looking to get into the tech industry, this is a great first step. Access www.devmountain.com or click the link in the video description for more info. Thought I would do just a quick video talking about something I was thinking about, which is this idea that you're on exactly the path that you put yourself on, right? That whatever path you're on in life, that's the path you chose. I've got a whole series on victim mindset. You should check out those videos. But this is something that I think a lot of people rail against, and it's sort of this hidden victim mindset that a lot of us have. You know, they won't say that they're a victim of their circumstances, but they believe that the path that they're on is the path that someone else put them on, or that fate or the world put them on, when in reality, it's you. It's the choices that you make every day. It's what you choose to do with your life, right? For instance, you know, how did you spend your time? Like, what did you do yesterday? Right, that's a good question to ask yourself. Is because, you know, I always talk about this idea that how you live one day is how you live every day. So you have to ask yourself, you know, what did I do? What did I do with my time yesterday? And whatever you did, that's the path that you're choosing, right? We're all born into different life circumstances, right? There's no doubt about that. I'm not gonna claim that you have absolute control over the circumstances which you start with, but from where you are positioned on the board to where you go, that's all your choices, right? You've only got a certain moves you can make, right? You've got the board, you've got your position on the board, and you've got the choices that you make from day-to-day basis, right? And so if you don't like the path that you're on, if you don't like being lazy, if you don't like, you know, what you're getting, the results that you're getting, you've got to change that. And how do you change that path? Well, you change what you're doing, right? On a daily basis. Those choices that you make from a day-to-day basis will determine what you become and what path you're on, right? So I'll just give you an example, since I was just running and I'm kind of doing workout related videos. You know, I ran 10 miles today, right? So when I started doing my running training, right, I had never imagined that I'd be able to run a full marathon. Like 26.2 miles is a long way to run, right? I'd never, when I used to run in the past, you know, like running 3 miles was a bitch. Like, I'm like, how the hell am I gonna run like 21 or 26.2? But what I started doing was training for it. I started running every day. I started running, you know, when I was training for it, I started running like 10-mile runs 4 times a week. And I started off running like 3 miles, and then 4, and then 5, right? And pretty soon that path led me to that circumstance where I could run that marathon. Now, how you spend your time, right? How are you spending it working? Are you spending it watching TV? Are you reading books, right? You know, I've read over 1,000 books at this point, probably closer to 1,500, you know, in the past, like, you know, 10 years or so. And that's altered my life, right? That habit has changed things. I've gained a lot of knowledge, I've gained a lot of wisdom in different areas, and it's helped me to succeed in business, it's helped me to succeed in life, it's helped me to achieve my goals, it's helped me to become a more intuitive person, a person that attracts more good things in their life, a person who's able to face hardships better and have a stoic mindset and be able to do those things. Again, I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm saying that those choices, those are the path. If you're doing something similar to what you're doing 2 years ago, right? If you do the same thing repeatedly, you're gonna continue to get the same results, right? But it's gonna be cumulative results. So if you look back and you're doing relatively the same thing, a lot of people are, where are you now, right? Whatever you're doing 2 years ago, if you're doing the same thing, that led you to exactly the circumstances you're at now. That's your path, okay? And another way to look at that is to say, if you continue to do, if you just take your day, like take your week, your average week, and I want you to go down, I want you to write down basically what you did every day. What did you eat? You know, what you can remember. How did you spend your time, right? Did you read? Did you watch TV? Did you play video games? Did you work out, right? And I want you to take that week and I want you to play that forward. I want you to imagine if you had 52 more of those or 104 of those, right? We're gonna look 2 years in the future. If you did that 104 weeks like that, where would you be? where would you progress? When you think about that and you do that exercise, then the next step is to say, okay, where do you want to be in 2 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And what does that person's path look like, right? What path do they run down in life on a weekly basis that would get them there? So imagine that you're already that person that you want to be. I've done this exercise a lot. I've talked about this a lot, but imagine that you're already that, and then say, okay, well, what is that? What does that person do, right? What would their week look like? What would their daily schedule look like, right? And start doing that, start implementing that, and that's the path. Even though you might be on a path that you don't like, you chose that path, because regardless of your circumstances, you chose what you're gonna do today, yesterday, last week, 2 years ago, right? You chose those daily things, and you chose which direction to move your piece, right? You can control what piece it was, perhaps, and you can control where you started on the board, but you controlled where to move it. And you have that same optionality today to make those choices, to move those pieces, but you've got to exercise it. You can't just say, oh, you know, my path was chosen for me, and, you know, and this is the path that I'm on. You have to make that choice, so. All right, that's all I got for you today. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Talk to you next time. Take care.